Good morning, children. Let us start the first poem of our book, that is the geography lesson. Before going into this poem, I would like to ask you one thing, children. How would you think your earth would look like when you're above in the sky? Some feet away from the ground, how it looks like. That is what is the description about the poet has given his experience when he was in a jet plane, how it looked like from the above. He had described about that. The poet, the name is Zulfikar Ghosh. Okay, Zulfikar Ghosh was born on 13 March 1935 in Sialkot, which is now in Pakistan. He had written many poems. He had got a special affection towards the nature, his experience. He had mostly all his poems and his articles which he has written, it is about the description of the his travel experiences. So this is also just one of that experience when he is in his jet plane traveling above the sky. He describes about how the earth looks like. Okay. When the jet sprang into the sky, it was clear why the city had developed the way it had. Now, why the city, where the city is, why it is, why it has developed in that place, he has come to know. Scaling it, seeing it scaled 6 inches to the mile. So when he is above on the in the sky, each city looks him to like it's just a matter of 6 inches when he is miles away from the ground. There seemed an inability about what on ground had looked haphazard, unplanned, and without style when the jet sprang into the sky. So he says the city looks like very haphazard. That means it is not arranged in an order. It is not in a particular style when he has gone up into the sky. When his jet sprang up into the sky, his earth, his country looked like that. His city looked like that. When the jet reached 10,000 feet, it was clear why the country had cities where the rivers ran. So now when he has, first when he was just miles away, he could see his city. He could see his city just 6 inches. And when he had gone still higher, that is 10,000 feet, then he could see his country from above. And now he says that when I see my country, now I understand why the countries are near the places where there are rivers and why the valleys were populated and why those areas near the rivers were populated. The logic of geography, that land and water attracted man. Now this is the logic of geography, that land and water attracted man means man will have his livelihood where there is land and where there is water. Land to make his shelter and water for his survival. He cannot live in jungles. He cannot live in in the desert areas. So he has to plan his living, his shelter, the place where he has to stay. It should be on the land and water which is unavailable. So this is the logic of geography. So when he saw the countries from the top, then he could understand why the cities or why the countries are near the rivers. That land and water attracted man was clearly delineated. Delineated means very clearly it was shown why people are having. In geography you study, that man has made his livelihood near the waters, near the place where there are rivers, near the valleys. Why? Because life becomes easier for him, because he need water, he need land for shelter. When the jet rose 6 miles high, it was clear the earth was round. Now when he could see, when the plane was little higher, he could see cities. When it was little higher, he could see his country. When he's still more higher in the sky, the jet has sprang up. Sprang means it just flew up into the sky. He could see that the earth is round. Okay. It was clear the earth was round and that it had more sea than land. Now this also you study in geography, that the earth has more percentage of water than land. That is why Earth appears as a blue planet, right? But it was difficult to understand that men on Earth found causes to hate each other, to build walls across cities and to kill. From that height, it was not clear why. But one thing, see, he was able to understand from there why cities are appearing so small. Then when he has got, they are so unplanned and so haphazardly arranged, no planning for that. And then when he rose little higher, he could see the his cities, his country, why it is near the waters and why it is near the land, the logic of geography behind it. And then when he has risen still higher into the sky, then he could understand that the earth is round and it is more of water than land. But the one thing which he could not understand from that height was why people hate each other, why there is hatred in the country, why one man is jealous of another. He was not able to understand from that height why people kill each other, why people hate each other, why there are walls across the cities. See, we understand that the mountains and the Everest and the seas and the rivers, these are the geographical boundaries. But what the boundaries, the walls which the man has made in between the countries, this was not made naturally. This man has made. Has God ever made all these boundaries that yes, this is India, this is Pakistan, this is Afghanistan, this is Nepal, this is Russia? No, man, God has not done all these things. God has made one place for the human, that is the earth, to live in, where He has provided land and water for all of them. Do we go to different countries? Do we find different water? Do we find different land? No, it's the same. That is the reason he says that I cannot understand why there is hatred in the people, why people hate each other. So this is the meaning of the poem, that God has not made any differences in between these geographical boundaries or giving any kind of natural things to the man. But this is man who has created all these things, and this hatred which is seen in the people is not seen from above, which the poet is not able to understand. So once again, children will recite the poem. When the jets sprang into the sky, it was clear why the city had developed the way it had. Seeing it scaled 6 inches to the mile, there seemed an inevitability about what on ground had looked haphazard, unplanned and without style when the jet sprang into the sky. Now children, you see, when the jet sprang into the sky, Now he is putting emphasis on those sentences. That is why these sentences are repeated again and twice in the paragraph. This type of repetition of the sentence in the poem is known as the refrain. This is a poetical device. Okay. When the jet reached 10,000 feet, it was clear why the country had cities where the rivers ran and why the valleys are populated. The logic of geography, that land and water attracted man, was clearly delineated when the jet reached 10,000 feet. Again, see, when the jet reached 10,000 feet, this is again a refrain in the poem of the second paragraph of the poem. When the jet rose 6 miles high, it was clear the earth was round and that it had more sea than land. But it was difficult to understand that the men on the earth found causes to hate each other, to build walls across cities and to kill. From that height, it was not clear why. So the poet has put a question mark on why there is hatred among the people is not understood from the height for the things which God had made. So this is all about the poem. I want you to go through the questions and you can ask the doubts if you have any. Okay, listen it properly and try to understand it.